Commissioners to order. It is December 8th, 2020. We're meeting via the Zoom platform. Commissioner Knoll, would you lead us in the pledge or say the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Any public comment today? Seeing none, we'll be moving right along. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from last meeting? Do I have a motion to approve?
Also move.
It's been moved by Eric, Commissioner Knoll, and
I'll
second
second it.
Commissioner Pohl. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. Commissioner comments and committee reports.
I had a meeting last week with the Area Agency on Aging. Most of that is time was spent on they're going to be putting up a new building in Hiawatha for that agency, and that in the COVID situation was predominantly what we worked on in the handbook. And then last night we had a Northeast Kansas multi-county health meeting. Again, COVID's the number one topic. Hopefully they're estimating that we will have in-county testing before the first of the year. So that's something to look forward to for have that service for the county.
Anything else, Eric?
No.
Mr. Pohl, do you have anything?
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
I have no comments today either. New business before the board. Roger Denton and Joseph Hansen. Roger, you want to get on? Either you or Joseph explain the situation to us. Do you want to explain it, Roger?
Sure. Joseph Hansen has proposed a subdivision for an area that for a long time has been known as Elmview area, which has 4 lots that was produced by a surveyor back in 1965, but was never totally platted or filed, and the drives included therein were never publicly dedicated. He has gone back through, hired Midland Surveying, who has produced the subdivision for him. Because of its proximity to the city limits, it's already been to the Planning Commission and to the City Commission for their approvals. I believe you will find that everything is in order, but there is one item left for consideration, and that is the road itself. I do know I spoke with Joe Hansen's wife, Danita, several times about this. I told her that if the road was brought to a standard acceptable to the county, that you would be more likely to accept that road. The problem with it originally was it was only 30 feet wide. They have made the effort. All of the owners of those properties have agreed to dedicate the additional right-of-way to make it 40 feet wide. The issues which remain are, they have a dedication statement, but my county counselor tells me that although they are dedicating that the property was never fully transferred to them, and so there is always that property glitch that if the original owners came back and made a claim, it might not be a valid dedication for the entire roadway. The second thing is that there was a question about maintenance and who would maintain it. Since a week ago, I've spoken with Tim Bell. He says if this is publicly dedicated and the county takes it over, that he would be willing to provide township maintenance to it in the same manner he did prior to learning that it was a private drive. The third thing is there is an extension, a 100-foot extension on this drive. And Mr. Bell also requested that before he would be involved in any maintenance on the additional 100 feet of drive shown in the subdivision, that those improvements would need to be installed to township standard, and then they would take it over. Those are the issues that I really know about right now. There is still, it awaits your approval before it can be filed with the Register of Deeds. And I will let the county councilor address his question on ownership.
You're muted, Pat.
I don't know that there's really a question about ownership. There's no question, I think, that the area between the houses that would be the proposed road, that none of the owners of the property have legal title to that property. I do think they have a very strong argument that they have equitable title to the property, and to have that determined requires what's known as a quiet title action to be done. That's a process that takes about 60 days. I don't want to be, I don't want to stand in the way of this getting done, because it probably should be done, and also recognize that the Hamptons have taken considerable steps to bring the property, to fix the problem, bring the property into compliance. And so to that end, if desired by the landowners, I would be willing to handle the quiet title action if they would be responsible for the costs, and there would be no, that is, there wouldn't be any expenses for attorney fees. It would also save them the filing fees. The county would be exempt from the payment of that filing fee. So there would be a publication cost to the Globe. And I think that's probably the only expense that would be there. So anyway, that's my recommendation, is that be done before you accept the plat. Once you accept the plat, the roads do become public responsibility for maintenance. And Kansas, in Atchison County, we have we're under the non-county road system. So it's up to the commission to designate the road, and it appears to me that road should be designated as a township road, and under the care of Walnut Township. But again, Shannon, I'm sorry. Again, that's something that should take place after the quiet title's finished. And then finally, there would need to be an agreement on bringing the proposed road extension up to acceptable standards. If that's a township road, that acceptable standard is significantly less than if it is to be a county road, and which would also be a benefit to the landowners.
I've got a question on that. Would they pay the township to do the upgrade, or is that something that could be done themselves up to the township standards?
Either way, that would be probably a discussion between the landowners and the township. So he might already have addressed that. I don't know. Mr. Hanson?
Yeah, this seems like back in 1965, I wish they would have approached us a little differently. If I understand what you guys are saying, is we need a quiet title. We need to bring the road up to the township standards, and that both the county councilor and the GIS coordinator, Roger Denton, are willing to help in the process. Is that what I understand? Those two things, plus you guys are wanting to help?
Yeah, if desired, yes, yeah.
And there is a filing fee for the plat, which I think is only like $35. The landowner will be responsible.
$32.
$32, okay. So Joe,
I might inquire.
yeah, you're on. You're on.
Okay. I appreciate all that's been said. I appreciate Pat's work on this. I would just like to pursue for a moment the question that he began with, which was that it seems like landowners may have equitable title, but not legal title. And that it sounds like some question about that makes this quiet claim process more necessary. Why would that be assumed or regarded at that point?
Well, because my understanding is that that area has been used as for ingress and egress to the 4 houses that are there since 1965 or something, and 15 years would presumptively give you title to the property, or at least a prescriptive easement through adverse possession, because it's been more than 15 years.
Does that answer your question, Joe?
I fear it hasn't.
I can't say I could understand it though.
That's why he's an attorney.
Yeah, I get that.
Did I understand, Pat, is there a difference between the road that was platted, which was the 30-foot, and then the 5-foot given up by the landowners on each side to make it 40? Is there any difference on when you do this quiet claim deed? Is that for the 30-foot, or does that make the road 40-foot?
No, it's just the 30-foot path that has been used in the past. They have already, all of the landowners, including a landowner who doesn't probably would never use the road, that's agreed to give up 5 feet times 100, I think. And so they've worked on it. It's obvious they have. So
Okay.
It'll take about 60 days to get this done, is what I understand. To get it to district court.
yeah, 60 days from when we file it, and then I need a legal description of the lot, the road as it currently exists, and then we can be ready. We can be ready to go.
Okay.
There is sufficient survey work done on this to produce that legal description of the drive.
And if I might ask, I appreciate the fact that some of these fees are being waived in this process. What fees would remain that we're aware of?
Well, there would be the publication cost to the Globe for the publication that's required, and that's probably going to be in the $300 range. It depends a little on how long the legal description is, but because it's based on the number of inches of space that it takes up. The court may assess the costs. The court will have to appoint a guardian ad litem. The court might assess the cost of that, but probably wouldn't. But that would be, and we could talk about that, and we'd have some input there.
Okay.
Any questions, Joe? Do you know where we're headed at this point, or we're more than happy as the county to help you out as much as we can.
Yeah, it's very much appreciated, and I appreciate also the consideration of extending the drive. I think you all understand our intention has been to subdivide our property and then build a small house on the south end of it. And that will increase the taxpayers on the street. It's not a long street, just a little drive really, but that'd be very much appreciated as we go forward.
Okay. So it sounds like we've got everybody on the same page and we can move forward. Okay. So I guess we need to move on to the next subject. Anything else on this one?
Mr. Hanson, if you could give me a call, and maybe after 3 o'clock today, we could discuss the details. My number,
Okay, be happy to.
367-1912 is my number.
Okay. Thanks, I'll do that.
Okay, Wes Slanter, Emergency Management Director. County Scanning Project.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I presented with you a purchase order for the IT scanning project for 2020. This year we're doing the county attorney's office. They had a room with, I'm estimating 200 boxes of documents that we want to scan and get rid of. They were able to go through those documents and clean those up to around 35 boxes. So this year we will be sending off those 35 boxes to RICO to have scanned so we can store those electronically instead of paper files. The purchase order before you or requisition is in the amount of $6,567.95. I just would like your motion for approval.
Okay. Any questions, commissioners? Okay, any questions? The chair would entertain a motion to approve the purchase order for $6,567.95 to RICO USA for this county attorney scanning project.
Also move.
And so it's been moved by Commissioner Noel, seconded by Commissioner Pohl. Any further discussion? If not, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 3-0. Okay, what else you got, Wes?
I also have a purchase order for the county attorney's office again. The county has replaced all of our copiers because our maintenance contract ends the December 31st of this year. So they're the second from last office to switch their copier to a new copier. So you have before you a price for a RICO 4055 SP copier in the amount of $4,551, and that'll come out of the 2021 year budget because the backlog due to COVID with RICO.
Okay. Any questions from commissioners? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to approve a purchase order $4,551 to the RICO USA company for a new copier, the county attorney's office. Do I have a motion?
Also move.
Moved by Commissioner Noel, seconded by Commissioner Paul. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Passes 3-0. Okay, Wes, moving right along. What else?
Okay, thirdly would be, we discussed last week about continuing our operations for our disease investigator at the health department and our door screeners at the county courthouse. We would like to extend past December 30th because that's when the CARES Act money stops. We would like to extend their employment for a minimum of 90 days. To do so after working with the HR department and the health department, it would be $5,200 to continue the door screeners and $15,000 to continue the disease investigator at the health department. There was discussion of where the wages would come from, and we found a solution. We're going to pull it out of the emergency management budget just to continue them through for 90 days. I also have Lori and the health officer and Christina Romine with the health department on board on the meeting to support the fact that they still need their disease investigator for the next 90 days minimum. So if you have any questions, I will gladly answer those, or they also can.
I've got one. What are the other two counties doing for, are they funding, or is the agency going to fund their screeners or their disease investigation? Or are we the only ones funding our own?
We have not presented to the other counties yet, but that is in the plan. We do think that the need for the increased support at the health department is going to continue past March. So at our board meeting last night, we did discuss how the health department could fund at least 90 days on their own, but we think that to our counties and asking for the additional support for those first 3 months of 2020 will help us so that we can ensure that these folks are available to assist us through the end of our fiscal year 2021, which is June 30th.
Yeah, I didn't really think of asking last night when we were at that meeting. My only thing was to be consistent within the agency and fair to all 3 counties. I was just wondering if we're going to be the only ones that fund our own. So I don't want to throw a monkey wrench in it. It's just a concern, and I think that it's worth funding. I just want to be consistent with the whole health department.
Absolutely. My intent is to present to the other counties in the next week or 2 weeks when I can get on their agendas to ask for the same thing, that their counties would support those extra staff for the first 30 days. And then, like I said, we at the health department can support them, beyond that for at least another 90 days. I'm sorry, and I might have misspoke and said for the first 30 days. I meant first 90 days of the year, and then that will hopefully see us through until the end of June, and maybe there's some light at the end of this COVID tunnel by then.
Okay, it seems to make sense to me. I would comment that we don't know what the federal government's going to do for state and local. They're talking about a plan in Congress right now to offer state and local governments some money. I assume that most of our governments are going to need some money to do this, and hopefully there'll be some coming down. But at least we have a funding mechanism for now. So try to see where we can head on that. Laura,
Agree. We have also been watching that very closely to try and make sure we're on top of the additional grant funding that may be coming down. So, obviously contingent, if that does not come through, we need to have a plan in place to keep doing the work we're doing.
Absolutely. Lori, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to say that having Megan is essential for the health department. Without her, there's no way that this place that I could keep up with everything. She is doing the investigating and contact tracing. A lot of that we're sending to the state, but the phone calls and just the investigation itself, you get a case in a school, that can take you a whole day. So not to mention we have this vaccine coming, and we're going to have people also to be able to administer that. So it's not getting better per se as far as duties related to COVID. It's going to get busier. Our cases are still on the rise. We're over 950 now. So that I definitely need Megan. And if we don't get government funding, I would really, really appreciate having her past the end of the year.
Commissioner Paul, you had a question?
Yes, to Commissioner Knoll's comment, I agree. I think that these people are needed, but I would hate to think that we're the only one that's paying for it and the other 2 counties don't, and they get theirs paid for by whoever.
We're going to be the leaders, maybe, Bill, in this particular. We will be the leaders on this.
And I hope that's true.
We might be. We might be the only leader too.
We're going to be.
We might be the only leader.
Yeah, I hope you're wrong. I have good faith that the other counties are going to see the same needs that we do. The chair would entertain a motion to approve $15,000 to help fund the first quarter contract tracer at the Atchison County Health Department. Do I have a motion to fund the $15,000?
So move.
Moved by Commissioner Knoll. Do I have a second? I will second it for discussion purposes. Any further discussion?
Why can't we get a commitment from the other two counties? She says she's got 2 or 3 weeks to meet with them. Why do we have to make that decision today?
Can I just say one thing? And I don't mean any disrespect at all, but this is going to be for our county. This is taking care of our constituents in this county. It doesn't take care of Brown County or Jackson County, and I know that they're part of this NEK. But my biggest concern is Atchison County, and that's all I have.
That's a good point. This money is going to be spent in Atchison County. It's not going to be spent in the Tri-County area. I think that's an important thing to designate. So
I agree with that, but at the same time, to be consistent and to be part of a group, you need to be consistent with everything. That's all I'm going to say on it. But I'm going to stop there.
So it's been moved and seconded. If we don't have any more discussion, I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. So it passes 2-1. Okay, moving right along. The other issue was $5,400 was?
$5,200, which we don't need a motion for that. We can just move that internally. The only one that really needed a motion was the external movement of money to the health department. The other $5,200 we can just move with a budget transfer internally. You can vote on it if you want.
Oh, if you do it internally, that's fine. It's a small amount. It's within everybody's authority. Christina, we'd love to have an update on what the Jackson and Brown County do in this particular issue, if you could provide that to us.
Absolutely. I will reach out to Michelle as soon as I get on the agendas and let you guys know so that I can, because Brown and Jackson are on Mondays. So within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'll hope to be back on your agenda on Tuesday to let you guys know how we came out.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And I just want to say thank you very much. Hopefully the government will step in and we won't have to worry about this. But I really appreciate your help.
Well, we appreciate everything the health department's done, not only in Atchison, but in the Tri-County area. So I know it's been a trying time, and there isn't much light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, we don't know that tunnel yet. It's how long it is, but hopefully by middle summer, we're past all this and we're back to normal living. So but none of us know. We started in March. When we started this in March, I thought the last 60 days, the over one. So we've all been through the scars and all those other, viruses. This has been quite a learning lesson for all of us.
Absolutely.
I don't think I have to go very far to find people who are sick of it, but we still have to act smartly. Eric, you're sick of it. Yeah, for sure.
I vote twice.
You vote twice. Yeah. You need to go find that beanstalk out there in your farm.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay. We have a season's greeting ad that the Globus proposed. I don't have the information in front of me. Does anybody have that?
I should have an email on it. Just a second. I'll pull it up.
It's a small amount. I guess it's just whether we want to do it or not.
Yeah. Michelle's come to us every year to ask us. It's just a simple season's greeting with all of the different departments with their phone numbers attached, which actually would make a great cutout because we still have problems with people finding our phone numbers. So I do like it that those phone numbers are attached. That would run in the Globe. I don't know if Michelle is on how long or the price. Oh, here it is.
$200 some dollars.
It would be $138 to print it. The deadline is December 11th, and the section would publish on December 19th.
Well, we always depend on the Globe for giving us a little publicity, a little bit of positive news. So I would certainly want to support it. So the chair would entertain a motion to approve spending the money on the holiday ad for the Atchison Globe. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Commissioner Knoll, seconded by Commissioner Paul. Any further discussion? The only thing is, I want to make sure those phone numbers are right. So,
I didn't develop the ad. I'm just reading what's on here.
Michelle has to proof the ad. Let's put it that way. Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. Okay, moving on. All the unfinished business before the board. I'm not aware of any. I don't know if we have a need for an executive session. Any public comment? Other than Mary, we don't have any public on today, so. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn at 1:32 p.m.
Also move.
Moved by Commissioner Knoll, second by Commissioner Paul. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.